Welcome to the George FTT YouTube channel. Today we'll discuss a team reveal for 2026, so I'm excited to share that with you guys and what I've come up with. And look, the team I put together in October, it's early, no one's thinking about SuperCoach. A few people ask for content this time of year, but it's a small minority. But look, the team I put together in October is usually, it would end up being a better starting team than the one I put together in March, just because, preseason, overthink, get sucked into practice matches and think about, this play looks good, this is what he could be rather than what he actually is. So, lots of learnings out of last year as well. For me, in the starting team, I don't mind paying up because you can sort of find money. You cut a mid-price if it's not a keeper, like here, and you can sort of find money here and there, but like during the season, I've learned the hard way paying up because there's so many plays that come down during the season, whether it's because the magic number just naturally, plays will come down early, in price. So yeah, I don't mind. I like hunting value during the season, but in the starting team, I'll just give me a quality player that I know I'm hopefully not going to have to trade out. For the most part, in terms of premium players and whatnot. So, yeah, give me quality, give me durable, give me proven. That's what I like. I don't know if it's right or wrong because maybe I'm overpaying a little bit, but I don't mind paying sort of fair price or whatnot. So, look, we'll see what presents itself in preseason. What we like, injuries can happen. Like one of TDK or Marshall gets injured, we restructure, probably get TDK in or. Maybe Marshall will be expensive probably, but TDK will be cheap. So something like that, we'll see. But yeah, this is the defense I've come up with. I've gone the two Saints boys, Nasiah and Jack Sinclair. Now, there is one more thing to note before we get into the team is it looks like opening round will be back. I don't know what form, but apparently St Kilda want to play in a game in Victoria on the Sunday. Which would be very annoying for people that want to start Nasiah or Sinclair. Plus, we'll have Flanders in the forward line, so that'll be a massive pain in the ass. So, look, out of our control. We'll just go with what we know, so we don't know at the moment. But Nasiah is my D1. I don't love his scoring. I like his scoring better down back than in the midfield, just because he just gets so much. He gets fed such a ridiculous amount of ball, and we know St Kilda like to play transition. They like feeding Nas, Sinclair, and Hill. So yeah, I feel like he could have a few low ones in the midfield. I don't know how good his contested game is, but yeah, it's the outside game that's an absolute weapon for him. And with the preseason in the midfield, like I don't actually know if there's upside here, but it's hard to see him not being like around the top 6 given how good he is. So durable as well. I like Nas. Now, in the midfield, there's going to be a tension that comes, I think. We haven't really seen him get much, and actually, he did get tagged once or twice, and he dealt with it pretty well. But anyway, look, I like Nas. He's in, and not going to overthink Nas, even if, you'll get him cheaper 100% during the year, but, I'm okay paying that for a superstar in Nas. Jack Sinclair. So we saw Sinclair's, now, he's going to be 31, I think, if he's not already, but we saw his scoring when Nas went into midfield, and I don't have it in front of me, but it felt like in the last 5 games, he just went 120, 130, 120, 130 most weeks. So he's going to have, who's taking ball off him down back? I'm not sure there's anyone. So we'll see what the defense looks like for the Saints, but we're expecting more mid-clock for Nasiah, and hopefully that means, like it did this year, more ball for Sinclair. Pretty simple. So yeah, he's getting a bit older as well, but yeah, I don't love picking players over 30 just because of regression risk, but I've been saying that for a few players like Neil and Gorn, and that sort of backfired certainly last year. So that's that. Connor Rosie, D3. I think the coach likes him in the midfield. It was Josh Carr's suggestion to play him down back. I think mid-season in 2025. And I really like his scoring power down back, and he's got a good overhead game. He can intercept, takes kick-ins, going to be the main guy back there. We know he's a natural scorer. I really like Connor Rosie as a pick. He can get knocks or minor injuries here and there, but I'm not too worried about that. So still young in his prime, and I like Connor, so he's in my team. Probably won't be in opening round either. The next player is Jordan Clark, but if there's no shenanigans with opening round, I think I'll replace Clark with Ash, who's priced a little bit cheaper than Whitfield. I think they're all fine options. Ash and Whitfield, they're more like pigs for the footy, whereas Jordan Clark, he really earns his points with the spoils, intercepts, and just has a few quiet games. Not only that, we saw him get tagged, I think once or twice this year, and when he does get tagged, he doesn't really score well at all. So you're going to get him cheap off a tag game. I'm not 100% sure Jordan Clark will be top 6, but I think he'll be not too far off. But I do prefer Ash or Whitfield, just with the opening round, and they're a bit more expensive, just slightly as well. So we'll probably rotate those 3 in this other spot, but I do like Nas, Sinclair, and Rosie at the moment. D5, I have Colby McKercher. Now, look, if he plays down back in preseason, I think we'll just pick him and not overthink it, because we know he can score well back there and actually have a proper preseason back there. But yeah, he can get 30 touches in his sleep in defence, old Colby. Their midfield, you would think Sheasel, Wardlaw will be back in there. Parker, someone else I'm missing, LDU, Simpkin, who knows. But I think they're well stocked for the midfield. I don't think they need him. I don't think it's urgent to get him into the midfield. They've tried wing, they've tried forward, it didn't work. Like, for me, he just has to play halfback. I don't see how he doesn't. Maybe rapidly progresses to get a bit of inside mid-time, but we'll see. I think he'll play down back, and we know he spent half a season in the forward line, so that's, he's probably a 580k player, 100k under price, potential keeper as well. So I think I'm happy to pay that for Colby. We'll keep an eye on the role in preseason, but I think it'll be there. And D6, I've got Jai Sarong, scored 90 plus in the VFL fantasy points, played a bit of wing, can play down back. I think they need him down back because they have struggled with tolls back there. Like Rampy's played undersized for years and whatnot. So he's in there, and then bench will be rookies, whatever. Like, I'm not going to waste thoughts on rookies on the bench in October, even though I probably will by January. But anyway, other players I like, as I spoke about, Ash, Whitfield and Ash, Kadeem Coleman, like, is he best 22? We'll see. There's 23 on the bench now, so maybe they do like him, but that Wilmot, Zorko, Fletcher down back, there's just no reason to change it unless they want to play Fletcher up the ground with, I think Archie played a bit of wing, and that means maybe Fletcher goes on the wing. I'm not sure, but man, I think you'd be silly to take Fletcher out of defence, so that's a bit of a tough one. Worry about that in pre-season. Got Blackiston and Butterick, so Blackiston I think will get first gig at number 1 Ruck by the sounds of it. It could be Vigo Santini, but we'll see what happens in pre-season, and he'll be cheap, 280, 290k, but just depends on the timeline of Brian. So ACL, I think he did his in like week 5 or 6 or something like that. Just to watch whether he gets an extended run at the ruck line, or as the number 1 ruck, but worth considering. Like, who knows, he could be dropped if he's crap. So look, probably a long shot there, but number 1 ruck in the 200s is always worth keeping an eye on. And then Connor Butterick played forward this year, so he's going to be priced at about 240k. He will play down back for the Bulldogs. And I think they did mention on Trade Radio where he can sort of play like a bunch of roles, can play sort of your lockdown, but he can also be that outlet as well. So I think there's 20 points of upside minimum here. Is it enough to justify 240k when he's not going to be the primary distributor? They did delist Johannesson, so I do wonder how they actually use him. But we'll see in preseason. Might be a preseason trap, but I think he'll make money. It's just whether it's worth the 240k. So just a watch. But yeah, when they say lockdown, that's probably a no. The next line we have is the beautiful midfield. And originally I had Butters as my M1. I just swapped him out for Bont just before. Apparently Butters is off for groin surgery. So I don't know how major it is. I don't know if it's going to impact his pre-season. I don't know. But I don't like to hear that he's off for surgery. But M1, I've got Marcus Bontempelli, the king. I don't think you have to start Bont, but I was just looking at all the other names, and I like the Brizzy mids. Like, I like Dunkley, I like McLuggage, like Anderson, like Rao. Are these guys all going to be opening round guys? Maybe Bont isn't. So we'll see what happens. I've got Bont as M1. He's one where if I need money, I probably will cut. But like you're going to need Bont at some point. And yeah, you'll get him probably 100k cheaper, especially if he drops those terrible. Dropped a few 60s this year, but he goes 60, then he goes 170, then he goes 60, then another 170s around the corner. So look, you'll get him cheaper. Good captain option too. Is sort of at that age where regression can happen. Like I think he's 30 now, so yeah, we'll see. But I pretty confident he'll be top 8 mid, and yeah, it'll be good. He's Bond. It's good to own Bond, really. So M2 I got Matt Rao. So probably was a bit of a hater in 2014 when he didn't do a whole lot for me in my SuperCoach team. But next 2025 was incredible with clearance work. So with that stoppage game, and yeah, sort of pissed in the Brownlow in the end. So I've got him in, and we saw developed a little bit of an outside game as well. But yeah, just sheer numbers. Gold Coast seemed to be gifted easy fixtures at the start of the year, but he did get to in the 400s this year. So he's another one where is this worth 620k? But yeah, just went on that run sort of in the second half of the year, just was unstoppable. So look, a maybe midfield, not too sure what I like yet, and we see the tag goes to Anderson as well, so I don't think Rao will get much attention. M3 Nick Dacos, nothing to say. Nick is Nick. Bit of a limited preseason this year, maybe a little bit of upside here, but look, Nick, everyone will want Nick. He'll get tagged, you'll get him cheaper, but it's whatever. Get Nick in now. And Collingwood, I think, have requested to not play in the opening round. So M4, M5, a little bit speculative here, sort of. Hayden Young, 380k. Initial thought was he's so injury prone. Do I actually want this? We'll need a full preseason, but priced at 77. I think he's probably 100 to 105 guy, maybe more. I don't think if he was fully at the peak of his powers, I think he's a 110 guy, but yeah, not sure. So he's one where I think it's you get your 100k or whatever, and you just sell maybe a bit more if you can put it together for a bit, but just so injury prone. And yeah, might have with 23 on the bench. I can see his TOG being pretty low as well. They can manage that as they need to. So I'm not really sure on Young. Price at 77. I think he'll probably do 20 points minimum above that. And you can just sort of hold the fort for a bit until we swap him out for a premium at some point. M5, I've got Harvey Langford. These two are not really my style of picks, but I've got them there just the way it worked out with the money. But I could split them into, I don't know, a premium and a rookie, which would probably be smarter in the long run, but just see what the quality of rookies looks like. But Langford, this is breakout written all over it because they've just traded the Petrarca and Oliver. They declared on BNF night that their starting mid-rotation will be Viney, Langford and Rivers. Now, they've got Jack Steele in now, so maybe that's less appealing for Langford, but he averaged under 10% CBAs this year, and I suspect that'll jump by at least, you would think, 50% plus. And if 50 is probably not enough, we need probably 65, 70. So he did 71 this year off pretty much no CBAs. So what is he going to do with CBAs? I think, I don't mind punting a player which you're pretty confident is going to have a decent role. So yeah, we'll see what happens. New coach. Viney's getting on. Do they, if you're a Melbourne supporter, who do you want to have more mid-clock, Viney or Langford? Langford. I think the coach can sort of see that as well. He's come in and he's got a vision, and we'll see how that works out. But I think Langford will get a good mid-time. Look, second-year boost can happen. Comes with no guarantees. Can he actually score with CBAs? Second-year player. Winning in the contest is pretty tough when you're up against some of the best mids every week in the comp. So, yeah, maybe. We'll see. I'm not hot on the pick, but I can see how it could work, and it's sort of just a watch at this point. Now, rookies, I think we'll get a few. So, Jagger Smith, depends if he's right off the ACL, but I think he should be. It could be a full 12 months. And, yeah, look, a good talent for Carlton. Will Brodie, Now, Port's midfield, it's Drew, Wines, Butters, Bergman, I think the coach would like in there. And Rosie maybe down back. I don't know. We'll see what happens with Rosie. But look, if he's named round one, you pick. If he's not, you don't. I think it's as simple as that. And M8, it's like Josh Smiley, Sid Draper. We haven't really seen Smiley at all, so I can't really judge that. But didn't put as bigger numbers as Jagger and Juniors. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Josh Smiley. And then Sid Draper, not too sure. I know he's had back issues for a few years, so I don't know. They did hold him back last preseason a bit. Looked nowhere near the pace. I know you might say, oh, Croce should have put more games into Draper. Maybe, but when he did get games, and we did just keep playing him sub, so probably never got proper adjustment to the pace of the game. But yeah, he really struggled, I thought. So, look, it'll be rookie price. He's a pick 4, pick 5, whatever it was. So, fingers crossed. He's one for us. And then whoever else, there can be surprise mature ages that pop up and whatnot. So, yeah, hopefully we'll see what happens in the midfield. Other mids I actually quite like McLuggage. I just dominated this year, but might get a bit more attention as people go to McLuggage over Neil. Butters will just depend on those groins. And, if he's back day one for preseason fully fit, I think he'll be fine, but I'm not too sure. Groin surgery is always a slight worry. Andy Brayshaw, I don't mind. Now, his back half of the year wasn't, it was okay, but, in fantasy, it was horrendous. I think he averaged in the 80s, maybe low 90s, in the back half of the year for fantasy after the bye. So, I don't know what happened there, but look, I like Andy, I always have, and I'll definitely, most likely have him in my team at some point. But yeah, that's the midfield. And there's just so many players that you can, whoever floats your boat. You like Anderson. I know a lot of people will like Finn Callahan. Do you like the Lions mids? It's so good. Errol Gordon will be a bit cheaper. Jack Steele. I can't resist, man. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. All right, Ruck line. Gorn, Sherry. Remind me, don't touch this line for the whole season. We'll see if an injury happens and a second Ruck gets opportunity that we can field. Then we'll consider something. But look, Gorn's going to be 34, and yeah, the thing that I was singing the other day, I was in the car, I was listening to him on radio, and yeah, he's so good, and he's going for 9 All-Australians this year. That's the record. He's going for the record All-Australians, and the guy's competitive as hell. He's running marathons in pre-season, in off-season. I think he's going to want that All-Australian, and I think look, age is undefeated, Father Time is undefeated, but I think he's just going to, I don't know, I saw no signs of regression this year, and I think he's going to want that All-Australian record of 9. Actually, what was interesting is he was saying that he runs on concrete as it helps his body withstand running during games. Found that interesting, but yeah, different unit, old Max, but you'll pick him. And Sherry's a lock for me, not even going to think about it too hard. I guess worth noting, we're expected to get 3 less stoppages a game, which no doubt should hurt the Ruckman a little bit. So it's going to be hard for both these guys to back up that 127 average this year. I think they're both going to go 120 plus. And if you tell me, all right, Gorn's going to average 120, Cherry's going to average 120, you're paying for them priced at 127, I'll be like, I don't care, I'll take it, because I'm not doing shenanigans in the Ruck. Never works. I don't know, one day it'll work and we won't pick it, but every time I pick it, it seems to never work. There's always things that can go wrong, and yeah. And in the flex, I've got, oh God, have I butchered this? I'm over budget by 100k. I'm going to have to adjust something. Look. Anyway, I'm not re-recording this. We'll go to the forwards. So, this is F is flex. So, flex, I've just got a rookie at the moment. It's all I can afford. So, we'll see what we get. Moving on to forwards. we're gonna have to cut. So we're gonna have to cut Langford probably. So pretend Langford's a 250k mid pricer, or maybe we turn both of them into Petrarca and a rookie. But anyway, sorry about that. Now forwards. Harry Shees was a forward this year, which will be great. 580k for Sheasel. Sign me up, and I expect more CBAs this year. If not, I don't know why. I guess they do have quite a few mids with Wardlaw coming back as well. But we saw, look, if you can get 54 touches in your third year playing midfield and you're available as a forward, you just pick. So Harry Shees was a lock for me, not even going to think about it. I probably would have picked him as a mid only as well, but that's debatable. North probably won't feature an opening round. F2, Sam Flanders, another lock basically. We know what he can do. He's going to get more mid-clock. That mid-clock that Steele got, I think, pretty much will all go to Flanders. But every time I talk about Flanders, I say the same thing. Battled bulging disc. I think it was L4, L5, whatever it was, all this year, and Dimmer said that he shouldn't have played half the games that he did. So clearly battled this year. Hopefully he's over that in preseason. That's the only real watch there. F3, Brent Daniels. So I did find this was searching SuperCoach scores. I have like a planning thread for 2026, and someone brought up Brent Daniels, who I completely forgot about. We know he's been a 500k guy, I think, in 2024. So yeah, half forward, 260k. Don't love that, but yeah, we know there could be potential 250k here. Battled, I think, some sort of like groin or hip, something like that. Some annoying lingering injury all this year and couldn't get on the park. So if he's priced at 260k, I think we'll probably go there. F4, run it back, Mateus Philippou. Now, I'm not going to call him a lock because he scored atrociously in the forward line this year. Didn't really have a preseason, 3 months he missed, and then just did his calf 2 or 3 times, just kept going. And that mid-clock, probably his body couldn't handle any mid-clock and got none of it. So, look, for 180k I think he's a star talent, I think, still. So I'm not going to forget what he did in his second year towards the back end. Just going to forget about 2025, and if he gets a clean run, we'll go from there. F5, Dev Robertson. Now, he's not on a list at the moment, but AFL.com.au said West Coast are expected to pick him up as a delisted free agent. Hopefully he can crack into that 22. Maybe he can play wing. We know Chester came in late and played a bit of wing then. He's gone, so maybe that's a spot for Dev, and then just got a rookie as well. So that's the team. Hopefully you like it. Just forget I have Langford there and pretend I've got like a rookie or something. He's probably the one I would take out, but yeah, unfortunately we can't do mathematics. But anyway, that's it from me. Thank you for watching, and maybe we'll do like a preview of like heaps of options that are going to be cheap before we start. But I think probably max of one video until the picker comes out. There's not really much to discuss. Draft content, I'm not massively across the draft this year. They're saying it's not a great draft. I do know some of the players, like, looks like Dyson Sharp might be a ready-made guy. Depends where he gets drafted. Willem Dersma, sounds like he'll go number 1. But I don't like his position is utility on his draft profile. So where the hell is he going to play? Could they just slot him at halfback in his first year, like we saw with Sheasel and Dacos? But he doesn't quite have the accumulation in him like those guys. So yeah, it'll be good to watch the draft and just listen to the draft guys, the gurus out there, and what they have to say. Divert to them, and yes, here we go. But that's it from me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see, or listening rather, and we'll see you guys in the next one.